did you do to prepare for your role as Stephen Bonnet? And had you known anything about his character prior?
Well, obviously in the build up to doing the show, I read Drums of Autumn.
Nice.
I didn't feel the need to read everything else. Because I would have been there for hours. I sort of needed to do some work. So yeah, no, I found Drums of Autumn really useful. It was I wouldn't say it's a Bible, but it had a rich tapestry of things that I could draw from. It's a lovely description there that was never in any of the scripts. So that's the beauty of doing things that come from the book. There's details that will often be missed, and you know, sometimes you're lucky as an actor and you get really thorough character breakdowns, and you get producers and directors who have a really, really clear idea of what they want. And certainly the team on this did, but I think having that sort of source material that I could keep going back to, there's just tiny little nuggets that just were really, really useful. So reading the book was one thing. I obviously the accent was a big thing. So I had to spend a lot of time working on that. I went to Ireland and went up to Sligo, where Stephen Bonnet was from. Mm-hmm. I tried to, because an Irish accent was not. I always did a slightly gimmicky Irish accent whenever I'd done it before. I used to work with a guy who worked with an actor called Alan Leach, who was in Downton. Yeah. And he used to take the piss out of me because I'd always be like, "How are you doing there?" And like really over the top like leprechaun. and he used to take the piss. So when this came in, I was like, why are you casting me to do this? There's loads of really good Irish actors out there. Yes. Why are you casting an English bloke? But anyway, I'm happy that they did. But yeah, that took a lot of time. So I did a lot of research for the accent and also trying to lift myself away from trying to create this character that wasn't really me. Trying to find how I could tackle that, because he's a particular type.
He is. Have you enjoyed kind of playing this, like, we'll say villain?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't look at him as a villain, although he clearly is one. But I think he's got
layers.
I think we're all. No one's black and white, are they? We're all sort of somewhere with big shades of grey. Some of us more so than others, and I think that he is. Yeah, he's definitely on a grey scale. But I've thoroughly enjoyed playing him so far. He's probably been my biggest challenge in terms of getting the character right. I'll be honest, I'd like to have done more with him so far and actually have more to do and say. But I know there's a lot of other characters, so that's how it is. But I think I've enjoyed the process. Sort of enjoyed always getting in his head.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I'll open it up to y'all. We'll start on this end and kind of work our way around.
I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Anybody have one right now? Go ahead.
So, I gotta tell you, when I first saw, I didn't sit down now, but I didn't know who you were. When I first saw your picture as cast as Stephen Bonnet, I thought, that's not how I pictured
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm in agreement with you there.
But I gotta tell you, of all the cast, when you first got on the screen and started talking, oh my God, I was so blown away, because I think that character is a hard character. I mean, he has layers, but he switches like from this to this, and there's no empathy, but it's a very, your performance blows me away.
That's very kind of you.
I don't really have a question, at the moment, but maybe a little later.
Oh, that's kind of you.
Who's next?
Sure.
What did you draw on, to help you give flesh to Stephen Bonnet? Did you watch other portrayals of, pirates and that kind of thing, or sea captains or whatever, to give you some source material?
I didn't actually look at many pirates. I did a little bit of research on that because part of England I live in, quite a few famous pirates come from there, like Blackbeard and also the pirate that Stephen Bonnet's based on is a guy called Stede Bonnet. There we go. So now the rumour is, I think it's alleged that Stephen Bonnet I think Diana puts it that he would be possibly Stede Bonnet's son. And Steve Bonnet was a gentleman pirate, hence the sort of gentleman pirate connection between Steve Bonnet. So he was a very successful lord and gentleman, and then became a really unsuccessful pirate. And Blackbeard in Bristol, which is the city I live in, told Steve, tried to be his pal, and was like, look, mate, you're not very good. You should really sack this piracy off and go back to being a gentleman. And Steve was like, no. And apparently, actually, I think then Steve Bonnet might have been the one who killed Blackbeard at sea. Anyway, so there you go. So I don't know, but that's the only bit of piracy information I learned. And drawing on, I mean, I looked at some other people and performances and things that I thought were interesting from a physical point of view. My acting coach and I, we talked a lot about physicality, because I didn't have enough time to completely transform like I would have liked to have done. I think in getting the role to starting shooting, there wasn't enough time for me to, he's described as a sort of barrel-chested guy, and I kind of thought, well, I'm not going to be able to do that in time. I'd need like 6 months, not 6 weeks. Yeah. So I had to take a different approach. So a lot of it became about how I can represent the physicality with movement and holding. And so that was a big thing. And also, whenever I look at any characters, in terms of drawing on things, it's always about working out what the point of view of the world is from that character's point of view. That's kind of my sort of main. Once I've got that and I've got a mantra for him, I can kind of, it's like a spider diagram. Other things come off from that. But yeah, I mean, I'll always research things and look at other people and I did read a lot about psychopaths, and I got really into sort of true crime and listened to a lot of really, really horrible podcasts about some pretty savage people, which is really fascinating. But also, like, my girlfriend, I'd be doing the washing up like 5 o'clock in the morning, and my girlfriend come down going, what on earth are you listening to? And it's like horrific crimes that have taken place across America mainly, and like by some absolute lunatics. So yeah, that's sort of the sort of things I was doing, I suppose.
Okay, so what ethical blur do you feel you would have in common with Stephen?
Say that again, sorry.
What ethical blur do you feel you might have in common with Stephen?
Ethical blur.
Where is it?
Oh, the gray areas.
The gray areas.
This is what happens: you get lost in translation. I don't think that's for discussion. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what my. I'm not sure what my grey areas are. So I sometimes have a lack of patience, I suppose, and I definitely think he has a lack of patience. He's fiercely driven, and he always wants to get the upper hand. So maybe I'm a bit like that.
Means to an end.
Yeah, he'll do whatever he can to win. Sell his own grandmother. Both mine are dead, so that's not a problem.
Go ahead.
I have a question. So,
Yes.
I met you yesterday. I was really intimidated.
Really?
I was, because I learn about people with their eyes, and they show Stephen Bonnet's eyes a lot. And so, and I couldn't remember Jimmy, but it was. Have you had that experience before, where I don't know how to phrase my question.
No.
No, like, so do people get, and people you've met, do people get intimidated? See, I am still just, it's your, you can change
Well, he's
clothes.
doing it right now.
And you
Yeah.
can change it. You can change clothes, and you can't change
Bestie
your,
bitch face, I think they call it.
exactly. But you can't change your eyes, and
No.
and just because that's the way I'm relearning.
Yeah, yes, you were talking about it
connecting.
yesterday. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
no, no,
shouldn't
no,
talk
no,
about that too
no,
much.
no, no.
Even just
It's your story,
you
it's
in the
fine.
picture with Sam, it didn't matter. Like, you on my left was more intimidating than Sam. So so it's just, has anyone? I don't know what I'm asking.
No, I think you have. I think
you
you've-
totally intimidate me. Like, I could cry right now.
Oh, no, don't do that.
So
mate,
what did you do? Here's the question. What did you do with your eyes? How do you
don't know.
transform your eyes in a role
I
to be a different person?
I don't. I mean, look. Lots of people mention eyes and acting, and you know, it's all in the eyes and everything. But you don't, as an actor, you don't set out going, how am I going to make my eyes look?
That's, you're connecting with what I'm asking.
Yes. So there's an internal thing about how you view the world. But people have been saying a lot. Yeah, people have recently been saying this to me more and more. Someone said to me at a party recently before Christmas, saying they met me somewhere a few years ago, and I looked very, I was a lot brighter, like smiley. I know a lot of people say I don't smile, but I actually do smile quite a lot. I'm actually quite a jovial person, but I think maybe, I don't know. Yeah, a few people have said I sometimes come across a bit intense with the eyes, but I don't mean to. I don't think.
Yeah, no.
I don't think. But maybe the act. I guess I don't know. I mean, maybe it's because a lot of you all have a very, very strong affiliation with the character from the book, and then you've all avid lovers of the show. So
projection.
Maybe it's not.
No, it's not fair to you. So I'm sorry.
No, but maybe it's that more than actually me. I don't know, or maybe it is me. I have no idea. But I would not want to intimidate you.
It's okay.
Not all the time, anyway.
I've actually watched it at Downton.
Right.
So when they announced you as Stephen Bonnet, I
You thought bad choice.
not a bad choice. I was more really, or
Yeah.
I'm curious, how is he going to be Stephen Bonnet?
I was exactly the same. I read a lot about the character, and I went, did a little quick selfie, went, nah,
Exactly,
that's not
Liberty,
me.
Jimmy, yeah, exactly, Jimmy. Winding the clocks, and then I'm Stephen Bonnet.
Yeah.
Do you have an audition story that you can share with us? How you read for the role? Was it?
Well, I did exactly that. Yeah.
Was there a scene? Were you with
There was a
screen
scene
testing with
there.
anybody?
What did I have to do? No, I didn't read with anybody else.
Yeah.
No, I did a scene with a Roger scene on the boat, on the ship, and I can't remember if we did a scene. If I did a scene, I think I did a couple of those scenes, and I might have done a scene. Yeah, I did do a scene that was like the prelude to the scene with Brianna. I think I did that. I can't really remember. I had to do a couple of readings. Yeah.
How did you hear about the job then?
How did I hear about the job?
Yeah.
Well, my agent phoned me up. It was actually my agent phoned me up and started explaining. Look, because I've been in for about previously. But yeah, they sort of my agent phoned me up and said, look, do you want to? There's this opportunity coming. I think they're quite keen on you, but this is what it is. And she was reading it out, telling me. I was like, yeah, it sounds like an amazing part, but I never get asked to do those roles. I mean, I'd love to, but I can't see it. And they said, look, just trust us, just go in. I think they're really keen on you. So yeah, we went and had a little go, and then managed to get the job.
Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, when you're going to do a scene that involves predatory violence like you did with Brianna, how do you and Sophie interact between that scene? Do you stay apart? You know, because I know in the, I have read that in Wentworth's scene between Blackjack and Sam, they Tobias and Sam, they stayed away from each other when they weren't filming. They avoided each other, and I was just wondering if anything like that occurred when off camera.
It was kind of, I suppose it was sort of, it was similar. Sophie and I had quite a few discussions over how, basically my main thing with that was, I don't like to have to think about, when we get down to the day, I do not want to have to think, I want to be able to know that we can just get on with our jobs, so everything's taken care of in advance. With some scenes you can work it out on the day, but with that I was like, look, let's just tell me what you're going to be comfortable with, what you're not going to be comfortable with. She was great. She was a real sort of hero about it, to be fair. She was like, look, whatever you've got to do in order to do this the right way. Which is such a shame we shot it all and no one's seen it. Like, we shot the whole thing, and like, no, we shot the whole thing. We filmed the whole thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So
That won't make the blooper reel.
no. I mean, there's I don't know.
I doubt that's a deleted scene.
You'd see forever.
I don't know if you'll ever see it. I don't know. But anyway, we shot the whole thing.
But how it was done was quite powerful though.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think people seem to be happy with the edit. If I if I was honest, I think that I liked what the idea of what they were doing, like cutting to the extras, the men. But no disrespect to those extras and those men, they were not actors. So I think it lost a bit of weight because they cut to faces that weren't really doing anything. And I know they weren't doing anything physically, but you can still not be doing anything and doing something. Anyway, that's just me being believity. Anyway, but in answer to your question, we talked things through, and it was all about getting the safety right, so we felt comfortable. The other day, I mean, I keep myself fairly separate in general. I mean, I don't always talk to people and everything, but yeah, I guess for me, taking on this sort of part is not the sort of thing I could snap in and out of. So, yeah, it was. Yeah, there was an element of separation, certainly.
Thank you.
So, John earlier had talked about in really deep and significant scenes that were really heavy, how occasionally, just to break it, so something silly might happen, and everybody would break out. And the scene I'm curious about, which like horrified everybody who has any kind of feeling, it was when your character threw the little girl off the ship, and I was wondering if how did that play out? Was there any moment where everybody kind of went, okay, we can stop being like super vicious, serious, and and hey, you okay down there, or what? What?
I think I probably was saying, look, give me some more children to throw off. So you wouldn't have
Especially
done
the
very well. I've got 2 kids. Yeah, I'd have thrown them off as well. No, I think there was more of that. I think I kind of just went heavy on the line of being jovial in a sort of,
Yeah.
much like how I am with people here sometimes. So I think, yeah. I mean,
how do you get your head around that?
I saw it that he was doing what he had to do. There was no he was right. That was the right decision to do.
That is what they did.
That was that was the right decision to make. What else would have happened?
Yeah.
I mean, it is pretty bad, and then there's like the screams and kicking with the mother afterwards. But I was just like, that's just noise. I'll throw her off as well. But she jumped off anyway, didn't she?
Yeah, but that to me really just amplified the character of how he was just a complete psychopath, and without any empathy or any feeling for anybody. It was just whatever. It's just it's a person. I don't really care. There's no.
Well, he's got bigger fish to fry, hasn't
Yeah.
he? So he doesn't need his ship full of ill people.
True.
What was on the other side? What did they jump into?
Concrete floor. It was a really, really soft mat.
I would
with a
hope
massive
so.
fucking hole in it. No. Sorry. Language.
Sam was catching it.
No.
What's your hardest to shoot?
I mean, look, the scene in question that we all know that was pretty brutal. Yeah, it's not an easy day at the office. Yeah, I suppose probably that. Yeah.
What was your favorite scene?
I enjoyed working with Richard quite a lot. We sort of kept talking about there should be more stuff for him and me on the boat. Why they concentrate on loads of other characters? It should be me and him on the ship. There'd be 3 episodes of Bonnet and
The adventures
and
of-
Roger, what's his face on the boat. So I did enjoy the scene where I catch him harbouring. I can't remember the character's name.
Baby.
Yeah, well, come on, you're supposed to.
Morag.
Thank you. Crikey. It's a CV show based on these books called Outlander. Ever heard of it?
It's the 3rd day. We're all a little.
3rd day. Oh, behave yourselves. Come on. Don't knock that over, please. But well done on the reusable. Very good. Yeah, I think probably that scene when I sort of catch him harbouring Morag. Thank you. And yeah, I enjoyed doing that. I sort of, Bonnet starts telling his own story.
Thank you. He does.
Did you have one? Yeah.
Blue is my favourite colour.
So one of the things that really does fascinate me is you and your colleagues, you know, you do this now, that's your craft, but everybody seems to have come from somewhere else and have been on a different path. For instance, like we know from Sophie, she was looking at medical school. Richard, what's his name? He was in IT.
What is his name?
Yeah, I forgot.
Rankin.
Richard.
I can't think of it right now.
I don't know.
Sam Hugeman. What was he?
But, so, I don't know if you're willing to do this, if you want to do this, but like, kind of, what's your backstory? What was the hook? Because what you people do is not easy.
No. It sounds ridiculous, I've only ever wanted to be an actor since I was about 10.
Oh, wow.
Acting is all I've ever wanted to do since I was 10.
Did you see a production of something?
I played Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, awesome.
Aragon, yeah.
17. Yeah. There's other things I flow with in my head, like more so now, but not actually to do instead of, just to do alongside. Yeah, I think I kind of jokingly said to my, well, no, not to jokingly, to appease my father, I sort of said about doing, like, just going off to study law or something. I was never going to do that. But yeah, I was always, no, law's great, but I was never going to study it. I let my brother do that instead. Genuinely, it was always acting. I mean, of course, I'd love to play for Tottenham Hotspur, but that was never going to be a reality. So, oh, you're not an Arsenal fan, are you?
Yes.
Oh.
Go there for life.
Oh, no.
But Glenn Hoddle is my hero.
Oh, he's mine too. I mean, you've got to love Glenn Hoddle.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right.
Thought Roger was.
But yeah, it's always acting.
Oh.
Go ahead.
So, do you know ahead Stephen Bonnett's story, or have you read anything ahead? Or?
I know enough to know. Yeah,
You know enough to know
I'm
it?
in the know.
You're in the know, okay.
Go ahead.
So what is your dream character to play, your ultimate character in any movie or book?
I don't know yet. I think it's hard to know.
Like if you had your own production company,
I'd
you could
have.
just pick any role.
I'm not sure. I just don't think you know until it's on the page. I think it's hard to say. I mean, there's like classical. You know, there's plays I like to do, and if they were turned into, I'd like to do them on the stage. Sure, films. I think it's. You know, there's types of films I'd like to make.
Like if you could be, I can see you as one of those evil characters from Marvel or Avengers now, because I know what you can do with your face and your body.
They've not seen it, I don't think, an awful lot. I don't know, yeah, I'm enjoying going down that path in terms of the type of characters. But yeah, I don't know till you see it. Mick Jagger, I'd like to do Jagger one day. Steve McQueen biopic would be really good, but I don't think that's going to happen for another 15, 20 years. So. Not now. I've got a dodgy ankle at the moment. I do normally, but I've got a dodgy ankle.
I can see it too. Yeah.
I'm not sure. We'll see. I know that's a bit of a cop-out answer, but I think it's so difficult until the script is right in front of you to know what character you want to play. I mean, everyone wants their taxi driver. Not actually, I don't want to be a taxi driver. Not that there's anything wrong with taxi drivers. I've realised I've already made a mistake.
Bonnet has so many almost endearing ways of communicating, moving, when he's not doing
Being a
these
psychopath?
horrible things. Yes. Things like how your character, or you as your character, you toss the side of your jacket when you're exiting a room, and
I've never even thought about that.
and then there's a swagger, like in
Right.
the cemetery, you're like all humble and grateful, and you know, and oh, I like rings, and well, I would think so after what you do, but
it's almost like I felt myself, and I haven't read every book, every word. I'm not that far into the book
Right.
because I can't stop watching the TV show on demand.
Right.
But I found myself like thinking, what the hell is everybody talking about? Because until they're on the river, going to Jocastas, I kind of felt like, what the hell is everybody talking about? Bonnet has endearing qualities, and then you take the character, and I'm wondering, if you don't know you're doing it, then it must not be in the script, which means you're just breathing more air into Bonnet's lungs, which I think is incredible. But I'm just wondering how you feel about it. Do you find anything endearing in the character?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, I think that's what I was saying earlier on about him being, being in this sort of grey area. I think he is. Yeah, he has the ability to be charming. I guess the thing is, from what you see so far, a lot of the charm is coming from. I mean, there is moments of vulnerability with him. There's definitely moments of vulnerability with him.
And I'm sure others feel that.
Yeah, but there's no excusing what he does.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
So I think there's always that we've got to be careful there. But I think, I've met people in real life who are very, very twisted characters, but then I've also been able to find out something about them. You go, okay, well they are human, and there is a reason possibly for why they've ended up the way they've ended up. I don't think we ever really know that with Bonnet, because I've kind of answered that before, trying to think that, oh well, no, because of circumstance and nature versus nurture, that's what's led him to be that way. But there's every chance that he could have been a lunatic anyway. Whether he was an orphan, whether he'd been abused and beaten as a young kid and a boy and young man, there's think of half the people running huge corporations and countries today. Oh, they're all psychopaths. Not all of them, but there's a huge amount of these people who are right at the top. They're everywhere. There's functioning sociopaths and psychopaths everywhere. So he just happened to have a slightly more tumultuous path.
What happened to him when the foundation of that house was being laid in Inverness had a real impact on him?
100%. The distrust for people, and also the wanting to prove himself against the world as well. But whether that's the reason, I've been trying to work this out, whether that incident, that event, is the genuine catalyst for who he is, or whether he might have been predisposed to
do
be
it
like,
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't. It's hard to know, really.
It does describe, though, his relationship with chance.
Yeah, I mean, luck's become a huge thing.
Yeah.
But then he makes certain decisions based on luck and Danu and all of that. But there's certain decisions he makes that got nothing to do with luck. He just makes some pretty horrific decisions.
Yeah.
He's just doing. So where does that come from? Is that years of distrust of people and living a tough life, or is that, I don't know.
That's something in common, I think it's something.
And I guess I tried to, when I was playing a character, I've not had to know that answer, because you don't look at yourself as though I'm tortured and troubled. The only thing I tried to come up with, as I was saying earlier, was like this point of view of the world, like this mantra that sort of created, this is how I think. And the big thing my main thing for him is me against the world. And I tried to find any kind of similarities I could find in my own life that would represent that, that incident in Inverness. Now, I've never had anything like that happen to me. I've had some bad things happen, but I tried to find other ways and other things, and trying to find crossover. So I didn't need to know whether I was behaving a certain way because it's something that happened, or whether I was just viewing things in a certain way. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Do you want to share your ring story?
My ring story.
Yeah, it's
As a present. It is. I've always wanted a black onyx ring, and my girlfriend, we're not married, been engaged for a long time. We don't ever seem to actually be doing anything about getting married. So I was like, well, you've given me a ring, I should probably wear it on the. I'm a modern man. We could both have engagement rings. So that's kind of that's become. So yeah.
Nice.
You got a question? You have to ask it yourself. Yes. I'm not doing it if you don't turn around and face me. Come on. Please.
You got it, Jim.
What's the question? How do I what?
She said when she would like to be an actor, and she would like to know how she makes money to be an actor.
Be good. Today it's not an easy thing. I don't think you should go into acting thinking about making money. Sure, be making a living and do it so you can be a professional, so you can have a livelihood from it. But like I would never want to put anyone off acting, because I always think if you want to do it, you should do it. As I said to you earlier on about my choice in careers, I'd never had a backup plan, because I think if you have a backup plan, you'll do the backup plan. If you want to be an actor, and go ahead and try and be an actor. But the money thing, it will come and go. Who knows that? But that shouldn't be the driving force as an actor. It should never be the driving force as an actor. And if you're good and you put the work in, you put the time in, there'll probably be some money along the way as well.
One last question that is not Outlander related.
Okay. If it's about Arsenal,
Don't poke the bear.
I used to live next to the Emirates.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah. Used to throw bricks at the place.
You might have seen me passing, throwing the bricks back. But I follow you on Instagram.
Right.
And what breed of dog is it?
He's a border collie.
Oh,
Pretty
beautiful boy. Yes.
Yeah, he's crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, my dog's crazy too, but he's beautiful.
What's his name?
Frank.
I love him.
Anybody have any? Go ahead.
What's your favorite thing to cook for your boys?
I've got my boy and daughter. My daughter.
One daughter.
Yeah. It's a very good question. We eat a lot of fish at home, and my son's obsessed with anything to do with sea creatures. So, fish is quite a big thing. I'm not like a cordon bleu chef. I do like cooking.
No, that's why I asked about what you cook your kids.
Yeah, I try. I'm not like the most creative at cooking, although but I'm good with recipes. If someone gives me a recipe, I can follow it pretty well, and it can normally taste decent enough. But I'm quite good at roast dinners, but I also think that I just try and make them. I do make them eat healthy food, but it's not like I said. It's not. You're not going to serve it up in a Michelin-star restaurant, but they'll always get a lot of fish and vegetables. And my kids are pretty good at eating, actually. To be fair, they've always eaten lots of fruit and vegetables, and they're not allowed sweet. They're allowed chocolate, but they're not allowed sweets.
Soda, no soda.
Sorry.
Soda, pop.
No, nothing like that. No, nothing like that. They're allowed. Yeah, it's but they do like their food. They're good with their food.
How old are they?
My son is nearly 5. My daughter's 18 months.
Oh, little bitty. You do some cute Instagram. So I'm trying to connect with you.
I try not to put them on
You're
too
a
much.
dad.
'Cause I know. I try not to put them on too much because
No, you don't. No.
Normally
Talk about it.
normally the back of their heads.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Normally.
Exactly. Yeah.
If we call it fan casting, from the first time I read the character, I started seeing you as Lord John, and that's the way I was until Lord John appeared, and then out of respect to David, I went ahead and accepted it. But that I love the character Jimmy, and I don't know what it was, but in talking about the eyes earlier, there really was there's something different, just in the portrayal of Jimmy. I know it was a few years ago, but you really, really did look younger. You
How rude.
No. No, because he looked like a kid. I guess it was
Right.
just.
And now I look haggard and weathered.
You
Like
look
you've been
like a
on a
pirate.
ship for a while.
But he looked more, the immaturity or naivete or whatever just came across, and part of it was the eyes. The Stephen Bonnet, of course, immediately you just see something different. And I really don't know.
I think I had a question with that, but I'm lost.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, it was nice to hear the point, though. That was good. No, it's good.
Tobias has said that when he put on the red coat, it really helped him get into character. How do you feel about what the costume does?
Costume's huge. Yeah, it's huge. Always is. And I'm not just saying that because I live with a costume designer, but you know, costumes are massive. It's the same as anything. But if you think about yourself when you put on certain clothes, you know, if you put on sportswear and you kind of feel ready to go and do some exercise. If you put on, like, let's say you go into a big event, you put on like a really smart outfit, it makes you hold yourself in a completely different way. So whether you put on trainers versus boots, everything. So clothes are a huge part of who we are. And they say a lot about. They can say a lot about where you come from. They can also say a lot, but it's mainly more than not. It's about it's a thing about identity. I think they do. You know, and also when you think about when you meet people, you can't help, even if you don't. We don't want to judge anybody by book by covers. Everyone want to do that, but you cannot help. But when you first meet people, the first thing to do is you have his appearance. That's why you always get taught at school or like by your parents about, you know, when you go into job interviews, when you're doing this, like, you know, take pride in your appearance, make it, you know, be presentable, whatever you define as presentable, then do that. So I think clothes are hugely important in any part of life. But yeah, as an actor, for me, it's like it's a huge factor how things can move and work, and yeah, you sort of you're in the mindset when the clobber goes on.
Well, we're gonna have to finish up here, but
Okay.
Before we go, are there any other projects or anything you can share that you're gonna be doing in the future that we can look forward to? I'm looking for work. So yeah, if anyone's got anything they need done.
Are you? Okay, I asked John the same thing. You joked about not being in season 5, and I don't do sarcasm. Are you in season 5?
Yeah, I don't think you
I
can
don't
say.
know.
You can't say? Okay, got it. Okay, got it. So it wasn't a. It was a true, like, haha, we're not in season 5 because I can't tell you. It wasn't like. I don't think you're gonna
Good try.
No,
I'm not trying it.
You were joking. You were just alluding.
You'll have to watch.
Leave some mystery.
I'm not in 5, but I'm in series 9.
Nice.
Even better.
Which they haven't commissioned yet, by the way. So.
Thank you so much for being here with us and taking time off and joining us
No,
here.
it's nice to be here.
Greatly
Thank you for making the effort to come down to New Orleans if you're not from here. So yeah, and if you are from here, thank you for getting out of bed.
Well, I think we're gonna do a big group.
Yeah, let's do a big group.